Minds on Muscle community, welcome to the Fitness Pro Mentors interview series. If you want to hear some amazing interviews from amazing fitness professionals all over the world, please join our Fitness Pro Mentors private Facebook group. But today, let's make it rain. Ooh, Fitness Pro Mentors, what's going on? Welcome to the first interview series that we're going to be hosting in this group, and I'm super excited about it. I got my good friend and honestly someone I love to look up to, Mr. Curtis Clay. Mr. Curtis Clay, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing good, man. You know, it's a Friday and the sun's out here, so I'm doing good.
Amazing, man. I'm so excited to have you here. So if you're chiming into this, the reason why I wanted to start doing this series, as you've been following this group, myself and Curtis, and many others, there's a lot of amazing biomechanics information out there, a lot of amazing information around muscles. But something that gets me fired up is all about how people make a go at this thing, how people build their business, how people grow, and ultimately get in front of the right audiences so people can come in and start work with them. So Curtis, the reason why I wanted to bring you on, man, is because honestly, you've done an amazing job of building Curtis Clay Training to a level where you are superstars in your area. And I was wondering if you could tell people a little bit about what the heck you've done to make your place so darn special, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Wow. What have I done? Honestly, if I was to simplify it, I would say essentially it's providing a quality service repeatedly and doing it over and over and over again. And I had a guy. He actually pulled my wisdom teeth, which we figured this out when he started coming in, which was interesting. I was like, "Well, what'd you do?" and so forth. But I was like, "I think you did my wisdom teeth, bro." And so he said something to me, and he gives me little nuggets throughout the time because he had his own practice, his own business that he sold, and now he's a consultant and so forth. But he said, "Curtis, the goal is sustainable effort over time," and that really resonated with me because what's the effort or the amount of clients you can take on and provide a quality service over and over and over again over time. And I think that was the biggest thing that stuck out to me, where it's like I can only take on so many people to where I'm providing the service that I want, which is the biggest thing. So being a good technician and being good at exercise, I think is crucial, like you said, studying and stuff. But building out the business, I guess the brand awareness, it really comes down to one, I think integrity is crucial. And I think people can feel when you're not full of integrity. And then secondly, building relationships. You got to talk to humans. I think you've been saying that recently. You got to talk to humans and really mean or be involved in the conversation. I think it's pretty crucial too. So I guess that's kind of simply some things that I've done to try and build this out essentially.
Yeah, you said two huge things there. I mean, first and foremost, the easiest one to kind of poke at is you said you got to talk to humans. And I don't know what
Yes.
it is. Actually, I know what it is, but it's terrifying, right? Going out and talking to someone you don't know, and you go up to them and be like, "Hey, I just want to talk to you about what you're doing. If you don't mind me asking you, why the heck are you in this Starbucks line?" Like, starting a random conversation with someone you
Yeah.
don't know is terrifying. I mean, for you, and you've got an amazing staff of folks there. I mean, what kind of things do you find helps you and your team get out of your comfort zone to go talk to a human that you don't know?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I used to practice. I would actually just before COVID, I would go when I had slower times, like in the mornings and stuff and whatnot. And I would go to Target, or I'd go to Barnes and Noble, or I'd go certain places and be like, get a cart, walk around and just, oh, hey, do you like that product? And then start a conversation. I mean, you have to practice that, right? And essentially, if you go into working on how to communicate with people, I think it's crucial. I think understanding body language is a crucial thing too. And I think the best thing to help yourself communicate is find somebody that can hold you accountable and point out your blind spots, right? I mean, I don't think that we understand where our blind spots are. I'm actually gonna do a podcast episode on that soon, related to exercise and so forth. But yeah, blind spots, man. I don't think we realize it because I think that we're in our day to day, we're doing our thing, and we're doing a good job, and people appreciate it. But there's always somebody that can be like, you know what? You do a very good job of this. Like, you dominate this, but this you don't do real well. And I think the cool thing about that is when they can pour that into you or tell that about you, you can be like, you know what? That's something I need to work on. That's a blind spot, or you might gravitate towards a certain clientele because of the fact of it's easy or it's simple, until you get that client that's outside of that box and you almost are like, oh, this is a blind spot for me. I didn't realize I couldn't communicate very well, right? Or whatever it is. And so I think that that's a crucial thing. So the guys here, what I do is like one time, I don't do this anymore. I did it to one of the guys. I was like, oh, hey, like an hour before a consultation. So I knew he was nervous to call people and do a consultation. Oh, bro, dude, I totally double booked. Can you do this consultation with this person? And he was like, yeah, I was like, okay, cool, man. Cool. Have fun. Let me know how it goes. Right. So that was for me as like somebody I feel like a mentor to some aspect, like how do I figure out what's the best way to help set them up? Right. And he did really good. Right. They were on the fence a little bit, ended up signing up, went fine. And I think that almost broke down some of his walls to go like, I can just go talk to people. So I think it takes time of figuring out, okay, do you have somebody that can pour into you and let you know, here's some things you got to just go do it. Right? Here you go. Let's go try it. And if it doesn't go well, what did you learn from that? Right? What did you learn? I think I'm trying to tell people, the guys here, is there's this like in baseball, we'd say like, oh, that was a good swing, or you're on path, or whatever it is. Well, everybody looks at the outcome. Did you get a hit or not? Well, in baseball, if you foul a ball straight back or you barrel up a ball and get out, like I call that a good miss. That's a good miss. Good work, right? You hit it good. It was really good. It just didn't hit. That's okay. Move on to the next at bat. And I think that's the same thing with talking to people. Like there are good misses, or maybe the timing's not right to where they're ready for your services or whatever it is, and just like, hey, keep the door open. Reach out to me if you got another question, and we'll go from there, whatever it may be, So I think that's what I kind of do here is trying to help set them up to get outside their comfort zone when we like to stay in our comfort zone, So yeah, anyways, that's a long-winded answer, but that's kind of some of the things that I do.
No, it was perfect. And you kind of reminded me of something, but I mean, I think the baseball analogy is great. Now, I am not a baseball person, so I'm going to just kind of blow right here. But isn't like a batting age average of 300? Isn't that a good swing average? But doesn't that mean that every 10 swings you only hit 3? Is that right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, but that's like what it is with communication and all of this stuff is that you just got to get out there and swing the bat. And you can work on swinging the bat. You can get out there and have your technique down. Then you can do all this amazing training. You can get super, super strong. And you just have to be confident enough to know, hey, that ball's going to come at me real fast and I got to swing. And I'm going to miss some. And that's okay. Because I know that I've done everything I can to prepare. And even if I hit 30% of them, okay, that's good because I've done everything I possibly can. I love that.
I mean, dudes are getting paid millions of dollars, failing 7 out of 10 times. I mean, it's like, what if you failed, 7 out of 10 times over, I don't know, let's say a year, right? 10 times within a week, 3, I mean, that's like over 150 clients.
Yeah.
And you're batting 30% or 300, but 30% you locked. Like you'd be like, wow, you have 150 clients? Be like, wow, that's crazy. Not saying that's a lot of people, but I'm just saying like sustained effort over time, right? So yeah, I love that, dude. I love that.
There's one of my mentors and in a book that I love, I'm reading right now, talks about how 20% of your actions brings 80% of your results. And as much as I'd love to talk to you about some of the visual stuff that you're doing, but in reality, it's the heavy lifting of being able to sell yourself, have high quality communication, and chat with folks that really talk to new people that turns into your business. And it's funny, I mean, this is a Greg Mackism, but he's like, well, you wanted more people. That's great. Where are the humans? And why aren't you talking to them? Right? Because if you know, oh, hey, there's humans at Walmart, right? COVID aside, there's humans at Starbucks, which somebody who's watching this, I know, definitely threatened someone that works with him at one point to go talk to random people at Starbucks with his job. Not actually, but said, hey, if you don't go talk to that person, you're done. And that person's watching, and I know they're watching, right? I love that idea because if you know where humans are and you're not busy enough, and the only thing that's stopping you from potentially having a career in this whole thing is you're technically proficient in all this stuff, but you got to go talk to a human about what you do.
Right.
Why don't you just go talk to a human? But people are scared, man. They're scared. They don't have the fire. They got to get out there and they got to, almost just jump in the pool.
I love it, man. I think, jump in the pool is a crucial thing. I think the hard part is a lot of us operate in fear, right? So, my godfather told me a while back, he said, there's no grace in hypotheticals, right? And we can always talk ourselves out of essentially going and talking to that person or reaching out to them. Or maybe you see somebody that, is limping at the store and you're like, hey, can I help you with your cart? Oh yeah. What do you got going on? All these types of things. I think we're just fearful. And then another thing that he used to say was you have to doubt your doubt, right? So you may have doubt within yourself or whatever it is, but you have to doubt that, right? Doubt that. Not that you're like shoving it down into your stomach, but doubt that and step outside your comfort zone and go do something and talk to that person. And it's scary. I mean, it's a little nervous, but then when you realize like everybody's kind of in the same boat, um, why not just do the conversation and see how it goes? You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, but I think a lot of us operate out of fear of what could happen, them saying no, you internally or by yourself feeling like, oh, I'm not good enough. And it's like, no, it has nothing to do with that. There's a lot of things I think have to line up for it to be a good fit. I mean, it's just like my marriage with my wife. Like there's a lot of things that lined up to where we're a good fit and we complement one another and encourage one another and so forth. So I think that putting yourself out there, like if I didn't put myself out there, I would not have an awesome marriage with awesome kids. My wife is a boss. Like if I didn't get outside my comfort zone, I wouldn't have this beauty, right, of an awesome marriage, home life, family life, support system. And the same thing with the business. If I didn't put myself outside my comfort zone, I wouldn't have this business, you know. And is it worth it? Yeah, of course it is. Was it nerve wracking in the beginning? Was I afraid I was going to pay overhead and stuff? Yeah, of course. But it all worked out as long as I continued to build relationships, talk to humans, and provide a quality service. You know, I mean, it's I'm not trying to say it's that simple, but it's like it's a little, yeah, kind of simple. I don't know, you know.
Well, I want to ask you something about that, and then I would love to change gears just a little bit. But
Cool.
you said something in one of the a few sentences ago where you were talking about how some people will settle and not really push too hard. In personal training land, I find this is a big thing where many trainers will, they see trainers that are charging $150 an hour doing a super special service, and they see like it's a lot of money to learn the biomechanics and go out and learn sales and have these conversations,
Okay.
take in isometric courses, MSS courses, resistance training, whatever it is. And so instead of going and making the push so they can make a career worthy income and truly help people like a special audience, they settle for some form of commodity based fitness where they're doing group fitness or weight loss stuff or transition to purely just online. And I was wondering, like you talking about people being afraid to make that jump. Do you think that lines up with the communication stuff that you're talking about?
Hands down, man. I mean, let's just look at our culture right now. All right. Let's look at our culture and what's perpetuated. I know you're in Canada, we're in the US, right? But let's just talk about Reddit and GameStop a little bit, right? Quick hit, right? That didn't go so well. Didn't go so well, right? People want to invest in, oh, I'm going to get into Bitcoin real quick and get out. People look for quick hits, right? The thing is, though, is like if I think about it, like I read this story to my daughter every single night, all right? And it talks about two men building a house, okay? They're both building the same house. One builds it on rock, and then the wind and rain come, and the house stands tall. And then the other man built his house on sand. And guess what happened when the rain and the wind came? It got blown down. So I believe that with online training, a lot of people are just trying to sell a commodity, like you said, where it's like we have a specialized system, we have really cool videos, our content's amazing, right? Your content number of likes and number of followers does not build a credential, in my opinion. It's a good supplemental thing to build value to some aspects, but it's not the end all be all. It is a good thing. It's like Google reviews or Yelp or whatever it is. But if you can build a quality business, in-person training, the online stuff's gonna be easy. You might use that as an adjunct. But if you go the easy route, which is just online and just focusing on content versus working on your craft and investing in things that will last and it will, exponentially over time compound in interest when it comes to education. Then from there, all this other stuff going online and whatever it is, that's like a subset. It's easy to do. But until you understand and lay the foundation for what you want to do, you're going to miss. There's going to be holes in that. And when the rain and the water comes, you're going to be taken out, right? Because people are going to copy your ideas and that type of stuff. Because people aren't paying you. People have to realize you're not paying. Like I tell people here, tell the guys here, they're not paying for sessions. People aren't paying for sessions. Yeah, we have a dollar amount per hour and so forth. And maybe it's only 45 minutes, depending on where their body's at. They're paying for access to my mind, to our minds. That's what they're paying for, right? People don't realize that they're paying for access to our mind and thinking about these things all the time. The courses we go to, you might go to a course and be like, oh my gosh, that would be perfect for Mrs. Jones, right? We're not like, oh, okay, studied, move on. Like all the information we acquire and use to make decisions, you're paying for us to make decisions on your system. just like you pay a surgeon, right? They're making a skillful decision. You're paying for their years and years of education and knowledge and potentially the tools and techniques they use, but they're not paying for sessions. They're paying for access to your mind. And if you're not building up the library of knowledge within your mind, guess what? You're not going to last very long. So that's just my opinion. People look for quick hits, the easy way out, right? So don't build your foundation of your business on sand. Build it on a solid foundation. You know, it's like so you can weather any storm.
Well, on that note, I want to ask you a question about that, and then I want to talk about your visual marketing. But it's funny. The reason why I wanted to talk to you specifically first is I've been doing this for 15 years. And I know you've been doing this for a long time too. And I've had this facility for 5.5. And I remember when I first opened this place, I was 27 years old, and people walked in, they're like, "Oh, you're so lucky. You're so lucky." And I know, I'm sure you've had this too, right? Because you're a younger fellow when you opened your spot, right? How many people do we know who have invested 50,000, 100,000 more money into their career over the last years that are no longer doing this or are still struggling to grow their business? And so why I want to talk to you about this is you, and I know some other folks, which I'll be having on here in the next few weeks. You've really taken your business to another level. If you were going to offer one unbiased, unfiltered piece of advice to trainers that already have the sharp biomechanics tools, but really want to, take their career to a level where they're working with high quality clients, they're getting the people that they want, marketing, getting those right people in the door, they're closing those people, and those people are staying in their world, and they've got good biomechanics proficiency, what is like the one unfiltered thing you would tell someone that they got to buckle down on, or they could do, or their mindset change they could make?
I mean, I'm not trying to do a plug for your FIST method, but I mean, if I use the F, like, how do they find you? How do they find you? You know what I'm saying? You may have the end all be all. They can't find you. What does it matter? So you need to figure out a way to get a presence around your community. I'm not saying everyone wants to get the presence like, oh my gosh, I'm on the Instagram famous page or search page. No, it doesn't start there, right? How do you impact your community? How do you get known in your community? Because that's ultimately the community or bubble you're going to serve. So how do you understand how your community operates? Do you go speak at your chamber of commerce? Do you go find other businesses where you can be an adjunct with them? You have to build relationships to have a presence. And if you're not building a presence, not an obnoxious presence, but a quality presence, then what are you doing? I mean, you got to get out there and build a presence, right? Keep providing a quality service. Most of them, when it comes to people in the courses we've gone to, their level of biomechanics and the nervous system and all this stuff is high level. I would say better than 95% of trainers out there. You might find a couple of gems out there. But if you don't build a presence, it's not going to work. And that starts with content can help for sure. Like, are you making quality content? Do you spend time doing it? Do people look at it and say, wow, this person spent some time making this, right? Like, you have a camera set up right now. Like, wow, he invested in a camera and researched how to stream and got a quality microphone, right? Wow, they really care about this. What are some things that you're doing to show like, wow, they don't just like treat us like a number and we're just moving on. What are they doing to make it quality? Are they actually investing time? And it's so frustrating to me because I talked to my wife about this. I was like, some people just throwing stuff up there, right? Just throw it up there and hopefully it hits. No, it's not spaghetti. Like, people pay attention to these little things. It's like, the spaghetti's done. People pay attention to these little things that you do, so build a presence, build relationships in your community. Stop trying to go so big worldwide. It may get there. The world is changing so fast. And I'm telling you right now, the algorithms on Instagram and Facebook, you can't keep up with those things, man. I mean, it changes all the time. So,
the quality thing's so huge. And I love that you said that because I really think like you need to have this humble, confident presence. But one thing I talk about in the mentorship program and to all the trainers here is how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so this whole setup here, like my camera, my lens, my microphone, my interface, right? This is a $2,500 tech setup. And I tell some people and they're like, what? Why? And I'm like, well, I use them for different things, but it's an investment into the quality. And when people are observing what I'm doing and they see the nice blurry background, it's super sharp and it sounds good and we can repurpose it for podcasts and the same for you, this streamlines my process, makes my life easier, but also it's clear that quality is important to us and what we do here, which is evident. Which, hold on, before we go anywhere else, that's where I want to talk to you, is your Curtis Knight Training. You have upgraded your visuals, your photos, your colors. Everything looks so sharp. Tell everyone, if you don't mind, on that marketing end, finding and high quality, what are you doing to help people find you with your marketing? Because you got some really good looking stuff. And when I talk to people, they're like, hey, you and Curtis Clay have both got great visuals. I'm like, well, you got to talk to that Clay guy. He's got some good stuff.
Honestly, man, my wife said this to me. I feel like you talked about it on something about being creative recently. I'm not going to say that I know exactly what you do. You talk about being creative. And I think that's crucial. I think that I feel like I'm a very creative person. I like that type of stuff. And I got exposed to a camera by my grandfather, like an old 35 millimeter, like you had, not like what we got now, but it was like, you had to like get the light right and all this type of stuff. And it was fascinating to me that you could do those types of things and create the things that you want. And so I guess when it comes to the visual side, I learned about getting a camera. We talked about the camera, and then I got a gimbal and like all this type of stuff. And I realized like it makes things much easier. But for me, I get to merge the creativity side with a message that I'm trying to get across to people, because the visual draws them in, but then the little captions can really solidify that. And so for me, I try to talk about things that I think are important that people want to hear. And then along with that too, showing them my aesthetic, right? Like if I'm like, wow, this is super cool, or how I got this angle, or how I got this dark, or the doors were open and I got an athlete running and they broke down, or here's a visual of a lady that's, recovering from an injury and she's like working out, she's older. Well, what is the thing that you want to convey to people? Like you're showing them essentially how you view things. It's another way when it comes to your marketing. So talking about things that you're passionate about and showing that with high quality content makes a difference. And sometimes you got to keep it light. Like I posted a video recently about, kidding around using like biomechanics, but this kid had a mullet. And I was like, bro, look at this haircut. It's beautiful, but a mullet is functional. It helps offload your cervical spine on but keep it fun. Like we are a fun place too. And we're not like super, super serious. When it gets to business, we get to business, we have fun. So how can I use my content to give them an idea of what the environment and culture is like here? And that's kind of how I look at it. And like you said, the way you do one thing is how you do many things. And I thought, why not invest in a camera? Now I got a microphone for the podcast, and I just bought this whole new setup and stuff. And how can I make it really good? Because I can't go any other way now. I can't just kind of skirt something through, right? Like, and I'm okay with that. It takes more time. But when I put that product out, I deep down feel like I did the best of my abilities to convey the message in a quality way versus it being like I just threw it up there and cool. That's just kind of how it is. I mean, show people where you're at and what you're seeing. And you can learn about some visual stuff. I mean, you'll learn as you go and just go for it. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like talking to humans.
Yeah. You know what, man, that idea of when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's what I love about I almost said fartography. Photography, right? I love about photography. And one of the exercises I had some students do a while ago. Now, I'm all about people investing into DSLR, but I mean, if on your iPhone, they got this amazing portrait setting now. And if you can take an object, right, anything, like I got my little timer here to help time us know where we're at, right? You put this on the table. How many different ways can you take a photo of that same object and make it look completely different and show different perspective? 3 ways, 5 ways, 10 ways? And you've done that. I mean, instead of just taking a picture of someone, can you take a picture down from the ground so you get this cool heroic shot of them? Can you take a picture of like looking through the hole of something and make them focused and have all this nice bokeh in the foreground? Like that stuff goes a long way, and it shows people that you're looking at things differently. Your images actually even say that, and I love that.
I love it, man. Yeah, and I think that's what's the fun part is perspective, right? I guess, I mean, this is obviously for fitness professionals, but, how you choose to work with a client based off your assessment, hopefully your assessment and so forth, the decisions you make that can vary. And you may end up getting to the same point if you compare two or the same assessment and how they went about it. It might end in the same place, which is cool. I think the same thing can be said with photography and viewpoint and perspective. And I think there are multiple ways to take that picture, because like you might try an exercise with a client, like, ooh, I want to do a lunge, but that's not what I was looking for. Okay, let's do it this way.
Improvise.
Ooh, that was closer. Oh, there it is. The same thing with content photography. You might be like, oh, well, that's not how I want it to look, but the idea is there. But how can you get it into the camera or whatever you want to say? And I think that's crucial, like looking at it from multiple different ways. I think with understanding the marketing and or sharing your message, it's going to help you become better at your training. It's going to help you become better at communicating to people. It's going to help you with so many different types of things, because when you can realize that there's so many people in this world and how they perceive things and see things, when you can understand the multiple ways they do, you're going to be able to hit more of a market to help those people. Because I mean, I feel like true professionals in exercise professionals, they really want to help people. So this is just part of the game of like, how can you produce something quality, high quality as like the first interview to where they're like, wow, that place is legit. Look at their content. You know, I've had many people be like, dude, who's your photographer? Who does your videos? And I'm like, you know, like, what do they cost? And I'm like, dude, I do it myself. Because I honestly believe it's going to be hard for somebody to convey what I want to convey through imagery and that type of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, you know?
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I mean, that's how I got into videography in the first place. Is I tried to hire someone to do our intro video, and they're like, that's going to be $3,000. And they started describing the script they were going to use. I'm like, no, that's nothing like what I want. So I took the same money. I took $1,500 and I bought a camera and a lens and a microphone, and I made the first video. And then I just kept going down. And although I'm probably $10,000 into video gear now, like openly, the amount I've done hundreds of videos. Right?
Yeah.
Hundreds of videos,
dude,
right? And so the return, I mean, that's a lot of money after the last 4 years, but how much I've gotten back from it, oh, it pays for itself.
Exactly.
So Curtis, listen,
I agree, man. I think that's what's cool though, right? Is if you jump in a little bit early, right, it's gonna go. And the thing is, once you get these tools, it's like, how can I use them more? Like with exercise equipment. Oh, I got this machine, but what else can it do? But then all of a sudden it's like, oh shoot, I can use this camera to stream. Oh, they make a new kit where I can just plug it in and the battery's going and I'm good to go. And I got my mic set. Like, well, like the return on investment, the ROI, and I can't tell this to anybody enough, is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And you will not be disappointed. So yeah, sorry, I got a little passion right there. But anyways, yes.
No, I love the fire. Honestly, I couldn't agree more. The skill, that's where, I mean, developing the skill of creativity, like being creative, which sounds ridiculous, but if you want to work on being creative, pick an outlet and put limitations around it, right? Like, don't just like go, I'm going to create music, right? Go onto a drum set, go into a paintbrush, use a paintbrush and use one specific setting and just get creative within a specific setting. And like you're saying, I mean, it blows up the opportunity of things you get to do in the gym and in everything, because that creativity is not just in that one specific area. It is now a type of intelligence you develop, which is incredible.
I agree. It's almost like, it's kind of like how the human body is, you know, like it's a system made of systems, you know, and if you work on creativity here, it doesn't just stay there. It can actually permeate throughout your entire life, which is really cool.
Ooh, it sounds like a link node hub model, but I've never heard of anything like that, anything being so interconnected. So, Hey, everyone. So Curtis Clay of Curtis Clay Training, he's got a podcast, Clay's Cortex. I mean, he's got a lot of amazing content. Please check out Curtis. Curtis, before you go, do you have any closing, soulful advice that you could offer to trainers to help them take their business to the next level? Anything you want to close with?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's really cool about this. This again is not another plug, but a mentor. I would say somebody that can pour into you, but it's obviously a mentor. Find somebody that can hold you accountable, that has either been there, or that is kind of on the same journey with you, where you can push one another, right? And so find somebody that can help you find your blind spots, that can be honest with you, and you're not going to get offended with the feedback they give you, because really they're just trying to help you. So find somebody that you can either confide in and talk to, and they can pour into you. And it goes both ways, but somebody that can hold you accountable and let you know about your blind spots, right? So that's one thing I think would really help.
Amazing. Curtis, thank you so much for doing this, man. I'm so excited that you were the first guest on this thing. I love you, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Man, I love you, man. Appreciate it, man. I love what you're doing. Keep rolling, and, sustained effort over time.
Sustained effort, quality effort. Everyone, Fitness Pro Mentors, we're going to have this up on the Minds on Muscle podcast page soon too, so please check this out. Follow Curtis Clay. Curtis, thank you again, man. Let's talk to you soon.
Dude, appreciate it. All right, buddy.